Hello, friends and neighbors, and welcome to episode Sweet 16 of Ray and Benny Talk Sports. We're here at the underground recording studio near the Vince Lee Community Center. Don't worry, we have producer Grammy watching the front door. And of course, as always, we had the man who climbed the ladder all the way up to rank number 2 at Windjammers at U of W. How you doing, Benny?
Wait a minute. Was I only number 2?
Probably, because he played me, so that makes sense.
We need a rematch of that thing. We need to find that arcade machine so we can play another round and see.
I was pretty dominant at that game, bro. I used those sideboards and everything like that. Woof, I was good. It was like racquetball. Dang, I was good.
Yeah, but I was still the champ at racquetball. You can't take that away from me for sure. I know that one.
You mean when I dropped out of school? That would happen when I dropped out of UW? You took that title?
Part of the reason you dropped out was because I kept beating you at racquetball. You couldn't handle it anymore.
Probably not, right? That's not true at all. That's a lie. Why are you lying to the friends and neighbors, bro?
That's the story I heard.
No, I dropped out children because I wasn't doing too good in school. But I went back and I got my degree. Let's move on. Talking about my academic past. Forget that. We have a huge show today. We got a crazy slate of those NFL divisional playoffs. And then we got the conference finals coming up. We're going to talk about the Winnipeg Jets. We're going to talk about Canada's men's soccer football team getting back into the CONCACAF qualifying action. We will renew the rivalry with the coin. And of course, we have a lot of your favorite segments coming up. But let's start off with some huge signings in Bomberland, brother. How are you feeling with the shape of this team and what Kyle Walters is doing?
Yeah, pretty good weekend. A pretty good off-season weekend for Bomber fans for sure, with Adam Bighill signing, Zach Collaros, Stanley Bryant, and even long snapper Mike Benson. Great to have him back too.
Absolutely.
What a weekend. I mean, you can't complain as a Bomber fan. We got our main core back, you know, all those guys that were big in bringing that championship to us, and they're back for at least another year.
Yeah, we got the biggest cog sign, and it's so encouraging because you know me, man. I love the line, the O-line and the D-line. Kyle Walters said today that's a first priority that he had. He wanted to take care of the O-line, the D-line. He got that done. He got our MOP quarterback. So what's next, bro? We got Brandon Alexander still out there, Andrew Harris, all of the running backs, all the Canadian running backs. What should be a priority, do you think?
I had seen today that something like Brandon Alexander for me would be the next priority kind of thing in that line. Along with, you know, one of the wide receivers like Kenny Lawler. But I think I saw today that Alexander is Walter expects him to be back. So I'm sure they're probably close, or they're working minor details out to work out that contract. Kenny Lawler would be another big one to me. You know, but it's kind of hard to. Well, I wouldn't blame him for checking out to see what he could get, considering what Lucky Whitehead got in that contract, right? Yeah, and Lawler's had 2 pretty good seasons. This last season was, you know, pretty damn good. So the thing to me, the guys that are signing, they're all veterans. They've all been around for a while. They all know what's on the other side, and they could go, you know, maybe make $20,000 more somewhere. You know,
they could.
But you know, what kind of situation do you get into? And you go to the Red Blacks, make more money, but then you finish 2-16. Do you really want that? But you come back here, you got Mike O'Shea leading you, and all these guys are signing a contract just knowing what they have here right now in Winnipeg.
Absolutely. That keeps coming up when you interview everyone. Stanley Bryant, Zach Collaros, Adam Bighill, who took a huge pay cut, like defensive player of the year, making $160,000.
Yeah.
Like he's not the tackling machine he was in BC with Solomon Elimimian. But he's a playmaker. He's more of a pass protection guy now, and he blitzes sometimes. He's almost like, I mentioned this a few months ago, like kind of like a Troy Polamalu in the Steelers, just all over the field. So to get for $160,000, that says a lot about the culture that Mike O'Shea has built. You mentioned Lawler. I think he's getting a couple looks in the NFL, bro.
Yeah, he tried out for the Falcons. Apparently, I guess the Falcons were sending scouts here to Winnipeg like crazy. You know, signing Alford. I'm pretty sure Drew Desjardins also worked out there, I believe. Yeah. But yeah, that's the last I heard was the Falcons were possibly making him an offer, and I think he was waiting on that. Andrew Harris to me is another one that they said they're working, they're talking. I guess they're seeing, right?
Yeah,
Harris is a starting running back when he's healthy, for sure. There's no question. He's an awesome running back. Can he stay healthy, or is his body starting to give out on him? And are we going to expect him to miss a few games here and there, or is it going to be more? So I think the Bombers have to weigh their options there. But I mean, I would not be against bringing Harris back for another season.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think he's at the point in his career. I shouldn't speak on his behalf, like I know what his finances are and that, but he's played a long time as a starting Canadian running back. And, hopefully the Bombers can get him on maybe an incentive deal where the more he plays, the more he makes. And hopefully that'll leave room for Johnny Augustine. No disrespect to Brady Oliveira, huge in the community, local kid, working with dogs, man. I love that, seeing that guy's videos online, but Johnny Augustine is something special, man. He makes holes. He makes cuts. He's a better receiver. So I can see Kyle Walters being in a tough position.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess it depends. If Harris is coming back or Harris just decides to go, then you keep Augustine Oliveira. But yeah, if Harris is back, you're probably only looking at keeping one of those. And it might come down to which one wants less money, really, because
absolutely
the Bombers are going to be right up against the top of that cap or at the max at some point here.
Yeah, and hopefully Andrew Harris will appreciate that culture. He's a local kid, so maybe he'll give a hometown discount. But you got people on Twitter, my favorite social app ever, calling for his retirement, and I can kind of see that too. Like he's been that big, heavy workload running back for the Bombers for a good 5-6 years now.
Yeah,
he's carried the load, and another player who's talking about or who just retired is Mike Riley.
Yeah,
that was huge after an 11-year career, 2 Grey Cups. That kind of leaves it wide open in regards to quarterbacks and maybe Masoli.
Well, no, they named Nathan Rourke, the Canadian, their starter going into 2022. I'm pretty sure I just saw that on Twitter right before we got on here. So
they're not even going to bring in competition for this. Well,
guy? I mean, they might bring a vet in, I guess, but they're going with Rourke as the main guy. So
Trevor Harris,
which is a big move. It's funny because Mike Riley, I totally forgot he's been around that long, like 11 years. I was like, he seemed still young and he seemed like he'd only been here for half of that. But yeah, I forgot he was there that long and the 2 Grey Cups. So he goes out with a pretty good career. No complaints, but he was taking a beating the last few seasons. I'm surprised he lasted this long.
And he did lead the league in passing yards this past season too. So, lengthwise, I was like, he might retire, but he still had the gun, maybe with a few pieces BC, but we'll never know. We'll never know. And with Masoli, just like James Wilder, both players unvaxxed last season. Wilder already said that he's going to be vaxxed so he can travel. Do you take the risk on Masoli not being a vax player? Nothing against anti-vax. Vax is not that BS. We're talking about just being able to travel and maybe being only available for half the games. Do you take that risk if you're a GM, brother?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the rules could very well change by the time the season rolls around, of course, but
hope so.
Yeah. Do you really want to play a season, get to the Grey Cup, and all of a sudden your starting quarterback can't travel with you to that Grey Cup game or anything like that? So I think that would factor a little bit into a contract. Maybe if team can get him for $50,000 less without that, maybe they go ahead and do it. But I mean, there's going to be teams out there wanting his services for sure.
Yeah.
So he can easily make some good money. But we'll see what happens there. But yeah, it's definitely a risk. I mean, Trevor Harris is still out there too, right?
Absolutely. So. And the thing is, Hamilton's lucky that they hosted the Grey Cup last year because we had a Bomber player who couldn't travel because of his status. Imagine if they didn't have Masoli to fall back on and Dane Evans went down, or was so something to think about.
They still would have lost anyways, right?
Undoubtedly, it would have been worse. It would have been worse, right?
Exactly.
But, so something definitely consider. Something everyone's considering. NBA, MLB, it's a constant thing until we're in the clear. And
you don't want to be out with all your best players at the most crucial time, right?
Yeah,
that's why the NFL decided not to test anyone anymore. I don't think so.
Of course, because the playoffs are coming, bro. Well, we're gonna get to the NFL soon. I'm gonna talk about Aaron Rodgers. Coming up, but let's talk about our Winnipeg Jets before we get to the NFL and Aaron Rodgers. Still dealing with COVID on a very tough schedule. They're coming home from a road trip. They got some points in the row, but not exactly the amount we wanted. How are they looking to you under Lowry, brother?
Yeah, the funny thing is when you say the schedule, I mean, the bad part hasn't even started yet.
That's true.
But I get it. I mean, you've only played a few games here and there over the last month, so maybe their legs just aren't fully there yet. But I mean, they looked good on the road trip against Washington. Came out, unfortunately, hit a couple posts. Unlucky in scoring, but then lose again in overtime. And then they looked putrid against Nashville. The only reason they got back in that game is because Nashville kind of hung back in the third period. But the way Nashville was taking it to them, oh my God, that forecheck, and they have
Central, bro.
Exactly, the Central. We kind of say sometimes, you don't need those big guys anymore, but Nashville's got those big guys. But their forecheck was relentless and their speed was relentless. Like the Jets had no time to even react sometimes.
Yeah. Didn't that remind you kind of like the Montreal playoff series where they had no space in ice to move at all?
Yeah.
And unfortunately, we lost Ehlers to Orlov on that blatant need, and he hit 2 games he got for that.
2 games. Yeah. Not even a penalty in that game either. Like how brutal is this thing? Clearly he sticks out his leg. And the thing that gets me is like, these players talk about their safety and all this stuff, but why do they go out and do stuff like this? Like you clearly know what you're doing when you're sticking out your knee like that onto a player. Chances are he's going down and he's getting hurt. You're pushing in his leg. It's not meant to bend that way. And it's disappointing because Ehlers, he's a big piece of this team. And now you're missing something there. So I mean, to me they against Boston looked good for a bit. Then they fell apart. Pittsburgh, they were, winning. Pittsburgh was pouring on. Haley was playing good. And then 9 seconds later, it's a tie game. And then
can that guy stop handling the puck, bro? Can you just leave the puck alone? Let someone else. It's really frustrating at this point, man. Like his game is almost perfect other than that. And he should just leave that puck alone, bro. It's better if the other team gets possession and they're on. Like it's getting embarrassing.
He's trying to make something happen of it for some reason. Like, I don't know if he wants to be like other goalies who can play it better, but it's just not your strength, man. Just let it play, leave it. Every time he's out there and has that puck, it's like you're sitting there going, oh my God, what's he going to do?
Both of us went like this. Absolutely. Exactly. It's so nerve-wracking when that guy gets close to the puck.
It's always an adventure. And to me, again, the shootout against Pittsburgh, you didn't score one freaking goal again. Like, I don't think they've scored a goal in the shootout in their last 4 or 5 shootouts. Like, how is that possible?
They had Dubois taking one, didn't they?
Yeah, and he missed the net.
Absolutely, he missed it to the left.
Connor hit the crossbar at least, and Scheifele's shot was not the greatest either. I don't think so. Yeah, I don't know, man. To me, they haven't played any different. They're still inconsistent. Lowry seems like a clone of Paul Maurice.
Wheeler with the
power play has been terrible again.
Yeah.
It might be time to switch that up. It's all guys on the perimeter, right? It doesn't seem like they pass about 50 times. I don't think any team is ever scared that there's going to be a shot coming from the point.
There's no movement at all.
No. And it's just, you got your 4 guys and you got maybe one guy behind the net or one guy in front, depending on what it is. And it's not working at all. I don't know. I'm getting frustrated by it again. Then you have the other night, I guess Stanley, I don't know if Stanley's hurt or if he's just been healthy scratch for now, but at least they left Sandberg in there for him. Dylan Sandberg, he's played the last couple of games. Looked all right. Nothing to write home about, but also nothing to criticize him about. But instead of saying put Chisholm back in, call him back up, or getting Heinola back or in there for a game this year, they bring back Beaulieu. Like why is he even playing? He should be there in case of emergency.
For me. Heinola is frustrating for me. That's a first rounder. Let that kid play now. He's ready now. Like, goodness gracious, I know I give Perfetti and such and the younger, smaller guys a hard time, and we'll talk about that in a second, but they got to let that kid play. Heinola is ready to play. Like, I don't see any reason that he shouldn't be on the ice.
No.
Instead of Beaulieu, or just makes him switch. But you're right. It's a clone. It's a clone of Pomo. And I don't know who's running that power play. Is it still your boy, Charlie Huddy?
No, Huddy's the D. Is it Compon? Or isn't he the Jimmy Compon? Isn't he the power play guy?
Like, why? What did they think was going to happen with this coaching change? I'm sorry. It's really Paul Maurice. I understand you quitting, bro. I get it because they kind of look like a mess, man. And then when Ehlers comes back, what are they going to do with the lineups? What do you think they'll do with the lineups? Perfetti stays on second line. Do you move him down to third?
I doubt it. I'd probably see them taking Perfetti out of the lineup altogether, even though to me, he looks like he belongs there. He hasn't looked out of place. He hasn't been making mistakes. The only thing that really hasn't come for him yet was more offense. He's got the one goal, and Connor and him and Dubois have looked really good, cycling the puck, moving around, getting a couple shots, but the puck's not really going in the net altogether for them. So Perfetti's still stuck at that 1 goal, no assists. So maybe if that doesn't start coming for him, then I'll definitely see him getting bumped off that top 6 for Ehlers. Do you put him on the third line, to play with Lowry? Is that really worth it?
And Poganski? What is going on here, Poganski? Why aren't they putting Harkins up there? What's going on, bro?
What does Svechnikov do that all of a sudden he went from that top line to not even getting in the lineup anymore?
He must have called out Lowry's name in vain, man. He must have called out his name in vain. This is crazy. He absolutely should be. And you've heard me say this a million times. Since the beginning of the year, Connor, Dubois, Svechnikov has been the most consistent line out there.
Yeah.
No one can tell me different. Those 2.5 weeks they played together, they're the most consistent thing we've had all year. And now they don't go back to it.
Exactly. So what did he do to go from that to not even be able to get in the lineup? Nothing against Poganski, because I don't really know him at all, but why is this guy who is basically signed for depth playing over him? Like, is Svechnikov still sick or injured or something? Like, I don't know. Like, tell us something. Or is Lowry Lowry's the same as Maurice, man. No difference.
I know. And like a couple of weeks ago, he says, "Oh, people will earn their ice time. Doesn't matter if young or old." Wheeler, bam, right on the first line, 20-something minutes. And he scored. That's great. But you've already backtracked on what you said and what you committed.
Yeah.
So, bro, I don't see this getting better. I'm sorry.
It's going to have to fast because they're only 3 points out of a wild card spot, that last wild card spot. But there is only one wild card spot because that Central Division is all well up there.
Gosh, right? Colorado was killing people, bro.
Colorado just came back from the dead.
8 wins in a row, I think they're at now.
How far were they out of the playoff race?
Lots. The first couple weeks of the season, man. Oh, they're in the bottom. Yeah.
And now they're sitting first. Like they've taken over first in the Central. So, and then you got the Blues, the Preds, and the Wild all over 50 points. That's like the Jets are 10 points away from the Wild right now. I know they've played a little bit. Actually, no, they've played one more game than the Wild. They've played a little bit less games than the Preds and the Blues, but they're the same as the Wild, and they're 10 points back. So it's going to be a tough hill to climb if they keep playing the same way they are right now.
Yeah, and we got Florida and Vancouver coming up. Not that Vancouver is a dangerous team, but they've been playing a lot better under Boudreau with a bit of fire.
And the Blues Florida, coming up too.
Oh God! In St. Louis, in St. Louis.
Yeah. So
hockey gods, please help us here. Please help us here. We're going to lose our minds. Let's talk about the other Canadian teams that are kind of floundering. Montreal, new GM, maybe brighter days in the next couple of years, but not anytime soon, bro.
No, new GM is Kent Hughes. I don't really know much about him. I know he was a player agent or ran a player agent company or whatever it was.
Yeah.
So I don't know a lot about him. Is he going to keep Dominic Ducharme, whom Montreal just signed, I think, for like 4 years or something?
This year, he's staying for sure. No doubt he's staying. That's what the hockey ops guy said. That he's staying for the season.
So for at least for this season, then I guess they'll reevaluate at the end there, right? But I don't know. He's got a lot of work to do, definitely, to fix this squad. They got Suzuki coming up here for almost $8 million starting next year. They got a couple high-end contracts, and I don't know if these guys are playing to those high-end contracts right now with Hoffman and Toffoli. Their defense they got a lot of money on that D coming up here with Petrie and David Savard. I don't know if those guys are playing to their contracts. So at this point, they're definitely out of the playoff race. There's no chance they're making the playoffs this year. Maybe they're going for that first overall, but he's gonna have to move some contracts, and maybe he can move Ben Sherratt's closer to the deadline to get I'd have heard a first even for Sherratt, which is quite shocking to me. But
say what?
Yeah.
What kind of world are we living in where Ben Sherratt is worth a first?
Dude, what? It's the what is it? The urgency to win or the desperation to win, and you give up anything you want for a supposed number one defenseman. I don't know.
Okay. Oh.
I would not.
No, I wouldn't either. That doesn't make any sense.
No,
that doesn't make any sense.
No.
Let's go across the Rideau Canal and talk about the Ottawa Senators. I don't know how much we can talk about them, bro. They're just as bad, 4 wins more maybe than the Canadians. All the optimism with that young core, bro, and I don't see nothing.
No, and that's the thing. Like you say, that young core is expecting him at least not to make the playoffs this year, obviously, but maybe compete a little bit more.
Absolutely.
And get further up the standings. But like you're saying, they're still second last. or maybe they're ahead of the Coyotes. Never mind. They're third last. So Montreal and the Coyotes are behind them. But yeah, it hasn't seen anything change or different from them. And I don't know how long they're going to go with DJ Smith there at coach, or even what's his name? Phil Dorian at GM. Like whatever they're doing isn't working so far. And maybe it's because the goalie, they haven't found that goalie yet.
Absolutely.
There are issues with Matt Murray still this year. But you got to see some results there soon. Can't be rebuilding for 20 years here.
Yeah, talking about rebuilding for 20 years. Let's talk about these Oilers. Oh my God.
I was waiting for that one.
Good segue, bro. You set me up and I dunked that SOB down into the
alley-oop.
Slam. Smite division rival. Sorry, Edmonton Oilers fans. We love you. We got love for you, but it is rough going here, man. Like Ken Holland, we talked about this last week. Ken Holland's got to go. He's old school.
Yeah.
He's old school. He's not benefiting the team any. Talking about Evander Kane. Won't make any moves for goalie. Is there optimism in Edmonton, bro?
I wouldn't say right now. I mean, Dave Tippett, if they lost to Calgary on Saturday, Dave Tippett's probably fired by now.
Yeah.
Right. You got the reporters going after the players and asking them why they're pissy. Like, honestly, man, that media has run out so many players at Edmonton, or guys have been waiting to get out. Eberle, Taylor Hall. Like, calm the frick down with your questions. Like, why are you asking the player what needs to be fixed or what needs to be done or what unit needs to be better? Ask the GM that. Ask the coach that. Ask the player about his play or something like that. He wants a story
and he wants a quote. That's clearly what that journalist is doing.
It's terrible, man. I mean, you know these guys are already down from losing. They're on a bad losing streak. They can't get out of this funk. And then you go and ask those kinds of questions. You're just looking for a rise out of these guys.
Absolutely. It's pretty much like asking, hey, who do you blame for sucking?
Yeah. Oh, my defenseman.
Yeah, you're going to throw the team under the bus? Come on.
Yeah, exactly.
What a loser.
Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah, so Edmonton's got to change so much, bro. And at the same time, it's like, what happened to that roster where almost everyone picked them to be number one in the Pacific? Yeah. Like, I think that's kind of got to reflect on coaching. There are some pieces there, but if you can't get those guys going, I don't know if Tippett has a room anymore, bro.
Yeah, it's either coaching or the GM brought in the wrong pieces this year with Duncan Keith, Cody Ceci, like we talked about last week. I mean, so either the pieces were wrong or the coach can't get it right. So at some point they're going to have to make a change there. I could see Dave Tippett, if they lose in the next little bit, a couple more games, getting fired. Ken Holland lasting for the rest of the season. But you know what? The one good thing they have what Calgary has and Vancouver has, that Pacific Division right now, besides Vegas, is fairly weak.
Yeah, you know, it is pretty trash.
They're like, the Jets are 2 points out of a playoff spot to that wild card spot, but the Oilers are 4, I think, out of second place. Really?
Yeah,
4 points out of the playoffs.
7. There you go. 4 points.
But they're not that far off from even second place in that division.
7 points away.
Sorry, 7 points. So the Calgary was 5. So it's not that far to be right back in the thick of things, really. Just because that division is not that great there. So. But they got to turn around soon. They got to figure out their goaltending. Calgary, again, Markstrom started off strong this year. He was hot. He's kind of tapered off a bit. Now Calgary's results are also falling apart. Besides Toronto, in the last 10, I think none of these teams are over 500 or over 500 in the last 10. They all have losing records besides Toronto.
Yeah. What a reflection on last year's Canadian division, eh?
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Good thing they had it so a Canadian team could get to the Stanley Cup final.
Yeah. And how about those Canucks? Also in the Pacific Division. Yeah. They had a bit of a run coming when Boudreau. They seem to slow down a bit.
Yeah.
But they're also in striking distance because of that weak division. They're also at 40 points, one less win than Edmonton. So winning percentage, Edmonton gets a boost, but they're not out of it. Not out of it. And I think they have a coach and they can find a style to stay in it.
Yeah. The one thing is, a lot of these teams, the Flames and Oilers have played a lot less games than a few of the other teams, but same like the Jets. But the only thing is, it's going to be a lot of games in a short period of time that they have to play. Like, I think the Jets had 5 games in 7 nights or something like that rescheduled. So, how's that going to go? And the way they've been playing Hellebuck, they keep riding him. You got to give Comrie. I know Comrie's had COVID lately, but you got to give him some games here and there, man. Or, Hellebuck's going to be gassed by the time this stretch is done.
Yeah, it boggles my mind now that they're playing in front of 250 people. Why didn't you just play the games already?
Exactly.
Why didn't you just play the games so you weren't screwed in this 2-3 week mess it makes no sense. Like they dropped the ball on that one.
Yeah.
They should have played to the empty arena just like Toronto did.
Yeah. Whatever. Keep those games going because you're just going to suffer here in the next few weeks.
Before we move on to the NFL playoffs, I just want to address something in regards to hockey culture. We have to deal with this racism again. We have these foolish hockey players making monkey gestures to black players in the ECHL. We have Subban's brother being racially attacked. This has got to stop, man. And you know, I've kind of gone off on hockey culture a couple times, but like, come on, what the fuck is happening here? Where you have these players who are making monkey gestures or noises to other players. What's like, people say, oh, this game's for everyone. I call BS on that, man. Like, it clearly isn't for everyone. It's not inclusive. I don't know what else I can say without swearing a whole bunch, bro. Because this is ridiculous.
I totally agree with you. None of this stuff is needed anywhere. Hockey, life. I mean, figure it out. Like, what the hell are you doing gestures for? To mock another player. But you just see it. Just play the game, and I think maybe the penalties need to be stricter.
Absolutely,
and kick these guys out for a year, maybe. Yeah. I mean, the one in the what was it? Was it the AHL? Yeah, AHL that he got 30 games.
Yeah.
But we've been down this road before, and it seems like those suspensions aren't working. So why not figure something out? Make it more detrimental. Kick them out a year, no salary. But at the same time, you can do that, but you need these people to freaking change. Because, you know, just kicking them out there, they're still out there. There's still being these people that they are, with trashy people that they are, even if they're still suspended from hockey. So yeah, it's not for everyone at this point. It needs to get there, and it needs to get there quick. There shouldn't be stuff like this still happening at all in any league or anywhere in life in general.
Yeah, players need to commit to beating their ass. That's what it comes down. They're gonna beat that guy's ass on the ice right there.
Hey, I could care less. Nobody helped them.
Elbow drops, whatever. Yeah, exactly. They had the
whole
team
great
around
thing about
them. Yeah. So things have got to change, and it's really sad when you have PK Subban saying, "This is what we're used to."
Yeah.
Like, how ridiculous is that? The guy's been in hockey for more than 30 years, and this is what he's used to. That's the norm. That's the friggin' norm. So things have got to change, and it starts at every level. You know, this whole beautiful thing with the stop racism tape, whatever. There has to be no racism allowed in these arenas. Like, we still have fans, parents, kids attacking Indigenous players over their race. Like, that's ridiculous. So, man, shit's got to stop.
It starts with parents teaching their kids right from an early age in that rink that treat everyone the same way that you want to be treated. And everyone on that ice is the same no matter what. And you know, hopefully that message gets through, but hopefully there's enough parents that are actually telling their kids or teaching their kids this stuff. And I don't know, like eventually, you know, getting people grown out of this type of thing. I know it's never going to go away or anything like that, but
no, it's going to have a less effect on the game.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Let's move on to the NFL playoffs. What? Oh my goodness. See how excited I was with the NFL playoffs. My camera jumped up in the air. They're like, playoffs? All right, camera, here we go. Let's set it back again. You okay, camera? Playoffs. We're talking about playoffs, so let's get it going. What a week. What a week of games. All within 3, except for the last touchdown, which we'll get into with overtime. But let's look at these game by game. Bengals Titans. Ooh, what a shocker there. And I'm still cheering for them Bengals. Hoo-day. I like that game.
Ryan Tannehill, that's your answer of who is the shittiest player in that game. Good God.
That guy. Yeah.
Like, he's almost like Jimmy G. You just got to do enough not to mess up the game. Get it into your hands of your playmakers, Brown, Julio Jones, Derrick Henry, and let them do the work. Like his first pass of the game, interception. They drive down and he throws an interception in the red zone. And then the last toss of the game last toss of the game for him ends up being an interception that leads to the winning field goal. It's like, how are you doing that, man?
Yeah.
I get it. The ball was tipped on that last one, but you're still whipping it into a tight coverage area when you don't need to. There's no need to force it. If it's not there, throw it away, kick it off. Hey, let's go to overtime. You know?
This guy has legs, man. If you don't have your first read, take off, get a few yards.
Yeah.
Like I don't know why he doesn't use that part of his game anymore. Maybe just because he's handing it to Derrick Henry all the time. But Like, come on, you're not Tom Brady. You're not the most accurate passer. Let's slow it down. Make it basic. How frustrating for the Titans. And that
especially their D. What did they have? 8-9 sacks. Like they were somewhere around there. Like they took Burrow out how many times?
And plus rushing him too.
Burrow just kept getting back up, and he had himself a whale of a game between him and Jamar Chase. And I think Burrow was still over 300 yards. So he came back and kept fighting back from all those sacks. But yeah, that Tennessee D played their heart out, and that Tennessee offense did not help them out. It happened a few times this weekend where D's were better and offenses just couldn't freaking get it going. So yeah, a bit of a shocker to me. I thought the Titans would take that one, but good on the Bengals.
They're an exciting team to watch. So I'll cheer them on the rest of the way still. Maybe a couple more games. Let's move on to the Niners and Packers, bro. You like this game. What are your thoughts there?
Woo! Well, yeah, it was an ugly game. It wasn't the greatest of games. Both D's were phenomenal, not allowing anything. And one special teams was better than the other one.
Absolutely.
And that was a difference in the game. Like both QBs were sacked 5 times, so they're both under pressure. Rodgers, besides that one first drive and then one long pass to Aaron Jones, he looked fairly terrible in that game for a player of his caliber. And it's funny, I was watching some clips and there's his passes downfield or wherever, always to Devontae Adams. But you're looking and you're going, okay, well, Adam Lazard was open there. This guy was open there. It's like, were you just ignoring those guys on purpose because you wanted to get to Devontae, or are you not seeing them? Because there was some missed throws out there that were uncharacteristics of Rodgers, over his time. He always finds that open guy, right? Just when you think he's done, he finds that play and it's downfield. So
he's starting to creep into Manning territory in regards to performing in the playoffs. And I have no problem with that clown.
The best thing is it's at Lambeau Field. You had, the cold weather. The Niners can't play in the cold weather. It's like, well, Green Bay can't also play in the cold weather because Rodgers did not look good in that game at all. A lot of mistakes, hanging on to that ball too long. There was some big moments in that game. And I think Green Bay scored easily that first drive. Second time they got the ball, they were driving again. And if they score there, this game probably ends a completely different way, but they end up fumbling. That woke the Niners D up. And from there on, the Niners D was on point. Jimmy G, he did enough to get the win, I guess. But again, mistakes, throwing an INT when you're close to getting either a touchdown or a field goal. But the blocked field goal and then the blocked punt for a touchdown for the Niners set that up for the winning field goal by Robbie Gould.
Absolutely huge. And to be honest with you, I'm not sad to see Aaron Rodgers out of the playoffs. Aaron Rodgers, I've had enough of that fool.
A lot of people were happy to see him go. He was getting roasted seconds after the game was ended. So
what a clown show. He's just been a Karen all year, man. From this immunization to this having to attack another journalist because he didn't have an MVP. And now this guy is talking about the CDC and how Joe Biden trying to doubt his 81 million. Man, this guy is a clown. I don't want to see him in Pittsburgh. I don't care. He's a loser. I'm done with Karen, bro. I'm done looking for this guy to come to Pittsburgh, bro. Forget it.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what he does. If he moves on, if he retires.
He can have a podcast with his boy, Joe Rogan.
Yeah, that'd be, he can join that thing.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty good.
They can sell that horse steroid and vermectin on the side, those clowns. Let's go to the Rams and the Bucks before I get too angry, bro, and before my camera jumps up again. Rams and Bucks. Tom Brady out. Rams look pretty good. Pretty good.
They did for the most part, but again, just like they did 2 weeks ago when they, lost the second half to the Niners, it's like, what happened to them? They were rolling in that first half, and then they go in for break and things start to fall apart. It was mainly turnovers and fumbles that allowed Tampa to get back into this game in the first place, and ended up being that crazy ending. Tampa scoring late, and then it's like, I don't know what kind of D that Tampa decided to play on that.
Horrible.
But you bring an all-out blitz, and the funny thing is, I had read earlier in that game that Stafford was destroying them on any blitz or all-out blitzes, and then that's what you think was the best play to bring at the end there. All you had to do was make sure they didn't get into field goal range, and then you let Cooper Kupp go behind you. It was terrible.
You have a safety on one-on-one on Cooper Kupp. Yeah, that's crazy. An MVP candidate, you're gonna have a safety one-on-one with a blitz. Yeah, please. Y'all gave it away. Not gave it away, but that should never have happened.
Yeah, you never know what happens in OT or whatever, but the fact that they fought back and then to blow it at the end of the game there, you know what? You guys, what's his name? Mike McCarthy's got to be pretty happy after this weekend, watching all these coaches make boneheaded decisions to allow these teams to, to come back in games. Like I don't know, you fight back and then nothing to show for it on that last drive.
Oh, they choked big time. And their defense has been a strength of theirs for most of the year.
Yeah.
So it's absolutely shocking. Who's their defensive coordinator? Is it Todd Bowles?
Yeah.
And he's getting interviewed for head coach. Ooh, bro, kind of dropped the ball on that one, bro.
There's a few of those guys this weekend that are getting. Leslie Frazier from the Bills. He was getting talked about quite a bit about getting the whole head coaching opportunity, and look what happened to him. The only one that did himself a favor was D'Amico Ryans for the Niners. He showed what he could do, and he should jump both of those guys. Maybe
these dudes just gotta stop taking interviews during the playoffs. Just focus on the playoffs. My goodness gracious. Bills, Chiefs, talk about an amazing game, an amazing finish. Two elite quarterbacks. People are already saying Manning, Brady, kind of rivalry. What a crazy game, bro. What a crazy game. What a crazy ending. Overtime.
Yeah, Josh Allen's going to be upset if he gets the Manning role, I guess, in that whole thing. But I guess he ends up with 2 Super Bowls possibly. But yeah, it was nuts. Like there was scoring in that first half, but it was kind of slow moving. Like I think they only had 2 or 3 possessions each.
Yeah.
And then that last 5 minutes of the game, or 3 minutes, whatever the heck it was. Like, 2. It was like
25 points in 2 minutes.
I was like, holy shit. To me, when Buffalo scored that last touchdown with 13 seconds left, yes, they were all excited, but they kept that excitement and that happiness going. And it's like, I don't know if there was not a refocus to go, oh shit, there's still 13 seconds left on his clock. That's Patrick Mahomes over there. He can get us down there. And again, we're talking about bonehead coaching decisions. Why kick it into the end zone? Why not try to get that to around the 5 so the guy actually has to return it? Yes. He's not going to go down, right? So then he wastes maybe 5, 6 seconds
already. Yes.
Yeah. And then you're down a bit. And it's just like, I don't know, man. Sometimes these coaches, it's like they shoot themselves in the foot, overthinking a situation or thinking. But even that, fine. You got them at the 25. Those 2 plays that they got in the field goal range.
75 yards, bro. 75 yards twice.
Who was on Kelsey on that second one?
That made no sense. Why would you take the outside shoulder, man? They just need to get the field goal. And
they had 2 timeouts still.
Yeah.
Why are you playing the sideline? Who cares? They only had time for one more play after that, no matter what. So terrible decisions all around there. And I feel for Josh Allen, man. He had 9 TDs in this playoffs, no interceptions. Yeah. And he's out. Like
what happened to that number 1 defense, bro? Yeah. What happened to that number 1 defense?
That's the thing. I thought the Bills had a good defense. What happened to them? They couldn't even stop Mahomes at all.
No, especially in those last 2 minutes. It was ridiculous.
13 seconds, man. That's all you had to do.
75 yards, 13 seconds.
We wouldn't even be talking about this OT crap coming up.
Let's talk about the OT crap that you're referring to, bro. I know you have an issue with it. Personally, I don't. I don't have much of an issue. Yeah, I kind of like CFL rules better, but play some defense. Like, especially in the NFL, it's 40-40 offense, defense, and maybe 20% special teams, other than the 49er game. But, taking away the kickoffs, taking away the punts, it's about 20% of the game. So your defense, that's your job. Stop them. Like
yesterday, I was like, they should change it. Each team gets a possession. But then, I'm thinking more into it, and I'd like to still see that. But at the same time, though, when would this game have ended yesterday with the way these Ds were playing?
Yeah, touchdown.
Exactly. So unless a team went for a 2 and the other one couldn't match that, these games would have went for a long time, right? So if you're going to do that, give each team a possession, then you force them maybe to have to go for 2. Makes it a little bit tougher, but again, they could still go on. And the way those Ds yesterday, this game could have gone on forever. I do like the kickoff and all that stuff. I don't like the CFL where it started at the 35 and go from there. I do like the kickoff, but I guess that would take the game a little bit longer too, possibly. Mm-hmm. But you play a 10-minute period in regular season, and if it ends in a tie, it ends in a tie, right? Overtime, it's got to go until somebody wins. But I don't know.
Like, I get it. You want to give the other quarterback a chance, but statistically, and I could be very wrong, in college where they play each a possession, the winner of the coin toss has won the game 54.7% of the time. In the NFL, 52. So what's the difference there with the coin toss? 2 point something percent?
I think in the playoffs, though, it was 10-2. So 10 wins for the coin toss too. It was closer in the regular season. So I think it's always the playoffs that magnify it, right?
Absolutely.
Like, all these rules suck at some point and people have to complain about something, but it is magnified more in the playoffs because, it's like, oh, that guy didn't even get the touch ball. Well, yeah, he does have a defense. We forget about that D or whatever in these situations, but we saw in the Green Bay game or the Niner game, how important D was and all that. Yeah. So, they're a part of the team. It's just like special teams too for the Niners, who Shanahan said were the worst part of their team 2 weeks ago.
Well, they woke them up.
Exactly.
Woke them up,
yeah.
Man.
Good
move by the coach there. Let's go to friends and neighbors' favorite segment, Ray and Benny versus the coin. We're winding down the NFL playoffs with the conference championships. We'll start off with the AFC. Just a reminder, heads is for the home team. Tails is for the away team. The coin really doesn't have much of a chance here, but we're going to play anyways because it's fun.
It is.
And we like to have fun here on Ray and Benny Talk Sports. So let's talk about the AFC final. Bengals at the Chiefs. Man, again, I want to take the Bengals. I just fall in love with that team, but my mind says the Chiefs at home, especially after the last game. So I'm going to go Chiefs at home. Patrick Mahomes looks unstoppable again. Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill, and they don't have as well. Maybe they do have as good a defense as the Bills, but I don't see them as much as a threat as the Bills on for that Chiefs team. So I'm going to take the Chiefs at home, bro.
Yeah, when these two teams played earlier this season, Bengals won 34-31. So there was really no defense in that game either. I'm going to agree with you, though. I'm going to go with the Chiefs just being at home and the way Mahomes is rolling lately. If this was earlier in the year when Mahomes is still struggling and just barely getting by, then okay. But, you watch that offense just roll through the Bills constantly on Sunday there. And I don't think the Bengals have enough on D to stop that. And I think Mahomes he's going back to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I don't even remember any incompletions like in the last 2 minutes. I'm sure there was one or two, but every time
it was wild,
man. It's like bang,
it was
bang,
wild.
Bang.
Like it's just like you watch those offenses and you're like, holy shit, is anyone gonna be able to stop them? So
it's amazing.
Go with the Chiefs.
So Chiefs. What does the coin have to say? Coin, have some love, have some spirit. What does the coin say? What does the coin say?
Here comes
heads. All right, coin's gonna play it safe. We'll take the risk.
All Chiefs.
Let's go Niners and Rams. You get the honors, bro. This is your team. What do you think is going to happen?
I got to keep rolling with those Niners, man. Not stopping down. 2-0 against the Rams this year. 6-0 over the last 6. The one good thing of playing in LA, just like it was weeks 18 there, that stadium was full of Niner fans. It felt like a home game for the Niners. Matthew Stafford's wife was complaining that Stafford was in a silent count while Jimmy G didn't have to be. So you already got Rams wives posted on Twitter. Don't sell your ticket to Niner fans. Contact me. We'll buy them from you. And it's just like, wow. But then you see Joe Staley and Frank Gore. They're like, Rams fans, don't sell them to us. We'll buy the tickets from you guys. So
the Rams are only selling tickets in a certain region too, I believe.
Yeah, they did that. But I think it's done already because once you get those tickets and you sell them in a secondary market, they can't do that anymore.
That's true.
And then so it's like, but people can sell them anywhere. And the funny thing is, Niner fans have been around for a long time, right? So they're more likely to shell out $600 to $1,000 to go see a game and all that. Whereas Rams fans, some of them are very new. They're like, hey, I can make $600 off this ticket. I'll sell that to you, no problem, right?
Santa Clara.
Yeah, I expect it to be red on Sunday, so we'll see. But going with the Niners.
All right, you know what? I went against the Niners enough already. I'm gonna jump on that bandwagon for this game. I could care less, bro. I'm gonna call it the 49ers because they're looking good, and I like that bully ball. So 49ers for Ray. What does the coin say? Look at the coin jump on.
Coin better go opposite, man.
No, it's all good.
Yeah, that's good. Actually,
Rams. It's all good, bro.
I was talking about the Niners being home with all their home fans there, but no, the Rams are still at home.
Let's don't forget to check us out online, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok for Ray and Benny versus the coin. And don't forget to hit the subscribe and like button below. Like button. Oh my goodness. We're coming to the end here. The like button. Leave a comment. Let's move on. Let's talk about men's Canadian football. They're coming up to 3 games on the 27th, 30th, and the 2nd to qualify. And they're looking pretty good, although they do not have Alphonso Davies.
Yeah, it's going to be a little bit tougher without Alphonso Davies, but they got a Honduras in the first one here, and Honduras is only sitting with 3 draws so far. It is in Honduras. It's in Honduras though, so that always makes me scary with those kind of games in those places, because they're always tough to play. I mean, isn't Honduras the one where they got thumped quite a few years ago, 8-1, when all they needed was a decent result to make it? So kind of worried about that. Then the 3rd game is against El Salvador, which is again in El Salvador. So tough on the road, right?
Yeah.
And then they got the USA in between there at home. Where are they playing that game? Are they playing in Edmonton or Toronto, or
Tim Hortons
Toronto,
Field? Tim Hortons Field, site of the Grey Cup, 20,000 seats. I think they're selling.
I guess Edmonton would be a little bit brutal, possibly right now to play.
It's not bad actually right now. It's like +4. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm in Edmonton. Yeah, it's nice.
Better than Winnipeg. Good.
They should have it totally at IGF Field, bro.
They should.
Imagine. Run them right out of there. So yeah, don't forget to check them out. Go Canada, go. El Salvador. Oh, sorry, Honduras, US, El Salvador, the 27th, 30th, and the 2nd. Huge games that can really swing it open for Team Canada to make that World Cup. I'm really hoping that I'm cheering for them in the World Cup, bro. I'll be so disappointed.
Fantastic, man.
Oh, Lord. Let's go to my favorite segment, Benny's Brickhead of the Week. Who do you got, brother?
Well, we talked about him earlier. Good old Jacob Panetta and his racial gesture to Jordan Subban.
Yeah,
buddy, you're my Brickhead of the Week for your stupidity. Man, get better. Just be better.
Absolutely. Like, come on, be a human. Like, the guy has different color skin. What the frig is your issue?
Exactly.
That's a good brickhead, bro. That's a good brickhead.
Yeah.
Let's go to friends and neighbors' favorite segment, Eat That Hot Dog. I'm going to give my hot dog to 2 Canadian tennis players who've made the Australian Open quarterfinals. We have Denis Shapovalov. I knew I messed that name. Denis Shapovalov, and we have Felix Auger-Aliassime. Aliassime. Come on, Ray.
Good try.
Get to the end. I got it the second time, bro. But they've both made it to the quarterfinals. Huge games coming up. Shapovalov has a matchup against Rafael Nadal, and Auger-Aliassime is playing number 2 Medvedev. So check it out. Watch those games. Cheer them on. Y'all get the hot dogs from Ray. Who do you got, brother?
The Shapovalov match is going on. That was terrible.
You see?
Yeah, I was looking at those names earlier and I was trying to pronounce them. I couldn't get them. But he's playing Nadal tonight, I think, like almost soon or whatever. I mean, it's obviously earlier in Australia than it is here. But my hot dog is going out to Emily Castonguay, who ended up getting hired by the Vancouver Canucks as their assistant GM. So it's good to see a female getting up in those high ranks, and hopefully it opens the door for more. I mean, if anyone's good at their job, doesn't matter what female, male. Let's make it normal to have these in these roles. Same thing, white, color, absolutely. Anything. Let's make it normal to hire someone and not have to make it. It's a big story every time. Let's make
normalize it, bro.
Yeah, exactly. So
I'm with you. I'm on that.
So my hot dog goes out to her, and hopefully all the best and help in Vancouver. Just not too much, though.
No. Not too much. Quick shout out to the Jansen boys on YouTube. Thanks for checking out the James West interview. Thanks for leaving a comment. That dude was my hero as well. And if y'all haven't checked out the James West interview, go to our YouTube channel, check it out, along with all the archives of past episodes, interviews with Willard Reeves and James Murphy as well. Brother, do you have anything to say to the people?
All I got to say is, you know what, everyone, get on that Niner bandwagon. Go Niners, go. And have a good week.
Okay. And in the words of Ilya Brizgalov, I'm not afraid of anything. I'm only afraid of bear, but bear in forest. All right, friends and neighbors, we'll see you next week. Be kind, be safe, and help each other out. Hey, friends and neighbors, don't forget to follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Ray Benny Sports. And check out our YouTube channel, Ray and Benny Talk Sports. Go subscribe, leave a like, comment, tell us what you think.